Rolex produces around 1 million watches every year. That sounds like a lot. But global demand is estimated at over 10 million. So why does one of the most successful luxury brands in the world deliberately refuse to meet demand? The answer reveals one of the most powerful business strategies ever created. In most industries, companies try to produce as much as possible. More units mean more revenue. More revenue means more growth. It is the basic logic of capitalism. But Rolex does the exact opposite. They intentionally produce fewer watches than the market wants. Customers wait months, sometimes years, for certain models. Authorized dealers have waiting lists that seem to never end. Walk into any official Rolex retailer today, and the display cases for the most popular models will be empty. And yet, Rolex remains one of the most profitable companies in the watch industry. According to estimates from Morgan Stanley, Rolex generates over $9 billion in annual revenue, more than all other Swiss watch brands combined in many segments. How? Rolex was founded in 1905 by Hans Wilsdorf in London. From the very beginning, Wilsdorf had a vision to create a watch that was precise, reliable, and elegant. In 1926, Rolex introduced the Oyster, the first waterproof wristwatch. To prove it worked, Wilsdorf had a young swimmer named Mercedes Gleitze wear it while crossing the English Channel. After more than 10 hours in cold water, the watch was still ticking perfectly. It was one of the first celebrity endorsement stunts in marketing history. In 1931, they invented the perpetual rotor, the self-winding mechanism that is still used in most automatic watches today. For decades, Rolex built its reputation on engineering excellence. Their watches went to the summit of Mount Everest. They went to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Every milestone reinforced the message: Rolex is built different. But somewhere along the way, the company realized something far more important than technology: the power of perception. A Rolex on your wrist does not just tell time, it tells a story about who you are. It signals achievement, taste, and success. And that signal only works if not everyone can have one. Rolex controls every aspect of its supply chain. The company owns its own foundries, where it creates its own gold alloys, a proprietary blend called Everose Gold, designed to never fade. It manufactures almost every component in-house. It even grows its own crystals for the sapphire glass on its watch faces. This vertical integration gives Rolex something very rare: complete control over how many watches reach the market. And Rolex uses that control deliberately. The company could invest in new factories. It could hire more watchmakers. It could increase production by 50% within a few years. In fact, in 2023, Rolex acquired Bucherer, the largest luxury watch retailer in the world. They now control even more of the distribution chain. But when it comes to production volume, Rolex chooses not to increase it. Instead, Rolex keeps production at a level that ensures demand always exceeds supply. This creates a permanent state of scarcity. The result is remarkable, because customers cannot simply walk into a store and buy the watch they want. The act of purchasing a Rolex becomes an achievement in itself. Dealers have been known to require customers to build a purchase history, buying other models first, before being offered a spot on the waiting list for a steel Daytona or a Submariner. Waiting lists make ownership feel exclusive, and that exclusivity is exactly what drives the brand's value. On the secondary market, the numbers speak for themselves. A steel Daytona that retails for around $14,000 regularly sells for $30,000 to $40,000 on the gray market. A green dial Submariner can command double its retail price on the very same day it leaves the store. Some vintage models reach millions at auction. In 2017, Paul Newman's personal Rolex Daytona sold for $17.7 million, making it one of the most expensive watches ever sold. Rolex understood a principle that few companies master. In luxury, scarcity is more valuable than availability. When something is easy to get, it loses its symbolic power. But when something is hard to obtain, it becomes desirable precisely because of that difficulty. Think about it. Nobody brags about buying something that anyone can get at any time. We value what is rare, what required effort, what felt earned. Economists call this the Veblen effect. Goods that become more desirable as their price increases. Named after the economist Thorstein Veblen, who first described how wealthy consumers buy luxury goods specifically to signal their social status. Rolex has created a flywheel. Limited supply drives up demand. Higher demand increases perceived value. Higher perceived value attracts even more buyers. And the cycle continues. This is why Rolex has never had a sale, never offered a discount, never partnered with a fast fashion brand, never licensed its name for cheap products. Every single decision the company makes protects the scarcity that makes the brand valuable. Even their advertising is controlled. Rolex does not chase trends. It sponsors golf tournaments, tennis championships, and ocean exploration. Events that align with legacy, precision, and excellence. Nothing more, nothing less. Rolex could easily produce more watches. It has the capital, the factories, and the expertise. With estimated cash reserves in the billions, the company could double production within a decade if it wanted to. But doing so would destroy the very thing that makes the brand powerful. Every additional watch on the market would dilute the exclusivity. Every shorter waiting list would reduce the desire, and every available Daytona in a display case would take away the thrill of finally getting one. Sometimes, the smartest strategy in business is not producing more. It is producing less. If you found this analysis interesting, subscribe to Strategy Atlas for more stories about the hidden strategies behind the world's most successful companies.